We're going to continue our focus on our special right triangles, and today we're going to focus on our 30, 60, 90 triangle, which has a theorem that states that your short leg is opposite the 30-degree angle, your long leg is opposite the 60-degree angle, and of course your hypotenuse is always across from the 90. Your 30, 60, 90 triangle will always have a special ratio that you will use for all of your triangles, and that is a ratio of x to x square root of 3 to 2x. We get 30, 60, 90 triangles from equal angular triangles, which I have drawn over here, and I'm just going to show you quickly how we get this ratio of 1 to 2 in our short leg and our hypotenuse. So let's take a look at our equal angular triangle. If it's equal angular, we know that all the angles total 60, so we'll put that in. We also know that equal angular triangles are also equilateral, so we'll put those in. Now, I'm drawn in the height or the altitude of the triangle here, and when I do that, I need to put in my 90-degree angle that I did here. And also, in an equilateral triangle, when I do this, I bisect the angle up here, and I actually also bisect this opposite side. So my angle of 60 up here has now been split into two 30-degree angles. So you can see your 30, 60, 90 triangle right here. Now let's take, for example, we had side lengths, or we started with a triangle that had side lengths of 10 for the sides. So when I dropped my altitude, I took this side length of 10, and when I bisected it, I split it into two congruent parts, or two congruent sides, so actually made this 5. So now if I look at the side opposite my 30, I see that it has a length of 5, and when I look at my hypotenuse, I see my hypotenuse has a length of 10. So here is your 1 to 2 ratio, and it works every time. Your hypotenuse will always be double the length of whatever your short side is. Your square root of 3 we get from our altitude. So let's take a look at some examples. Here's our first example. We have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. The information they gave us was the side opposite the 30, which was a length of 6. I've got my ratios written down over here, so I'm going to put in the information they gave me. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out the ratio. So if x is 6 for my short leg, then my long leg will simply be 6 times the square root of 3, and my hypotenuse will be double the x, or 12. And you can come over here, your y is the hypotenuse, so your y is 12, and your side 60 is 6 square root of 3. And you've got it. Let's come down to our next one. Let me move the screen. Alright, we've got information that they gave us here of 4 square root of 3. We see that that is opposite of the 60, so we're just going to drop it right in. So we have 4 square root of 3 for our long leg. Now we're going to use this information to find our x. Well, we can see here, if we look at our ratio, the x is simply 4. And to get our hypotenuse, all we have to do is double the 4. And when we double the 4, we get 8. So again, your hypotenuse is down here, so that is 8. And your short leg, in this case, was 4. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, we're going to start here with our information of 8. That is opposite the 60, so we're going to put that in over here. And now we're going to find our other two sides. It's kind of hard to see what our x is, isn't it? So this requires a little more work, but you can do it. We're going to say that our 8 equals that ratio of x square root of 3 and set that up as an equation. It's going to look like this. All you're going to do is solve for x. So to solve for x, you got to get rid of that square root of 3. So you're just going to divide it out. So those will cancel. So we get 8 equal to x over square root of 3. But we have a little bit of a problem because you know you cannot leave that there. So here's where you rationalize your denominator. So to rationalize the denominator, we'll multiply by that square root of 3. And we will get x equal our 8 times the square root of 3 over The square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. So we put that in for our leg. And all we need is our hypotenuse, so double your short leg. So 8 doubled, 8 times 2 is 16. And so we get 16 square root of 3 over 3. One last look here. We're actually going to do something a little bit more this time. We're actually going to find the perimeter of our shape down here. Well, how are we going to use the 30, 60, 90? What we're going to do is we're going to take our shape and we're actually going to split it into two separate shapes. This is a strategy that you can use to finding perimeters. So I'm going to draw in my side here, and now I have a rectangle, and when I dropped in my side I drew in a 90 degrees because I'm drawing in the height. Okay, now you can see 90, 30, so what does this have to be? You're right, it's a 60-degree angle, so there's your 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I want to find the perimeter. I need to find these missing sides. Well, we know what this one is, right? That's 10, so we can just transfer that. We don't know what these are, but we can sure find them, right? Because we're going to come over here and we're going to use our table. We take the 8 and we transfer that over because we know we have a rectangle, and so that's what we start with, opposite of the 30, and so we drop it right into our formula or into our ratio. So if our short leg is 8, our long leg is 8 square root of 3, and then we double to get the hypotenuse, or 16. Put those back into your problem. Here's your hypotenuse of 16, and here's your long leg of 8 square root of 3. How do we find perimeter? We add up all the sides. So we add up the sides, so we add 10 plus 8 plus 10 plus 16. So we add all those up and we get 44 plus our 8 square root of 3. You're not going to combine those. That's as far as you can go because these are considered, or they're not considered like terms, and so you would stop. So that would be the perimeter of your shape. All right, this has been a quick look at your 30, 60, 90 triangles. I hope that helps you with your problems. Always remember to use your ratios. Always put in the side they gave you to start with, and that will help you find your other two sides.